Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to look at Trois Dice, a 1 to 10 player game published by Pearl Games. In this game, you're going to try to draft different dice here and get the most points on your score pad. Let's go ahead down to the table here, and I'll give you a very general overview of the game. We'll come back, and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so we're going to take a look at Trois Dice. Now, or like I like to call it, Troy's Dice, because I can't pronounce anything. So what you're going to do is you're going to go over and you're going to do 8 rounds. And each round is going to have 2 different opportunities to get dice on your board. And what's going to happen is you're going to roll these dice and then you're going to put them from highest to lowest. So put them highest to lowest. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that the black die here always wins. So notice how there's 2 3s. This one goes ahead of it. And what you're going to be doing is everyone's going to simultaneously pick a die, except for the black die. The black die, whatever one it landed on, is removed from this round. So I'm going to take a look when I'm picking a die, and this is how much they're going to cost to get. So if I want this die, it's free. If I want this die, it's going to cost me 1 gold, 1 flag, or 1 knowledge. I think that's flag's influence. And this one here is going to cost me 2 gold, and if I had one here, it would cost me 1 gold. The die is going to be the number and the color. Okay, so before the start of the game, what's going to happen is you're going to put numbers 1 through 6 on here. Now, it's recommended when you first start that they're going to be in order. Other than that, they can be in a different order. You can do it randomly. So we're going to go ahead and we'll put 1 through 6 on here, and all the columns will need to be the same. Okay, and now that means that the die I pick, you're going to look at the color. It's going to match one of these 3 colors here, and it has to be that number. So if I pick this one, which is the white one, it'll be down here. Each of these, when you go to the different areas here, do different things. So this top area, you can do one of 3 different things. You can get more of these influence flags, which you circle when you get more of these influence flags. So if I took this red 3, I would get 3 more of these flags. Sometimes you get bonuses once you hit that. So when I hit another 3, if I put 3 flags down here, I'll get another person. I would circle them down here. Now, these different people that you can get in the game are just pure points at the end of the game, which is really nice. So you're wanting to get as many of those as possible, but there's other things to get. Up here, if I choose this upper section here and circle one of these, that protects this number for the rest of the game. So all the 4s are protected from being destroyed, which I'll show you how that happens in a little bit. So let's say I did pick this red 3, which would cost me a coin or an influence or what. So I'll just cross off the coin, and then I would circle this 3. I would get one of these little people down here. And now all the 3s are protected. I could also pick this bottom row here, which will give me just more people. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you circle on either side, you'll get this middle benefit up here too. So I will get this middle benefit up here if I get both sides on here. Sorry, I was a little above the thing there. That's this row here, just in a nutshell. This row down here, you will be able to get different advantages across the top here. And you'll be able to get, which I'll explain in a second, and you'll be able to get more people down here. And again, if you fill either side out here, you get the middle bonus. Also, you could take one of the yellow die here and you could just get that many coins, and that will help you buy more stuff. Now, this row right here, what you're going to end up happening, if you pick these ones, you're going to, for every one of whatever, so everyone that has a red die, so this one only has 1 available, you're going to get that many things on the bottom. So for this one, for every red die available, I'll get 2 people. So you put 2 people, circle 2 people on here. So the bottom row is going to be one of the more interesting rows down here. basically you're going to get your little knowledge points on here, which you can use to change a die color to any color you want. Now, whenever you raise or lower the value of the die, or you change the die color, that's just for you. It doesn't affect anyone else. This is very much a solo game. There's no real limit to number of players too. In this game, you could play with this entire pad and it just doesn't matter. So the bottom here, you're going to get people down on the bottom row. And again, if you do on either side here, you'll get the middle bonus too. You can simply take the die number and get that many of these little knowledge things. Keeping in mind, again, that if you hit some of these, you're going to get little bonuses. Or you can unlock scoring. Now, scoring is really cool because when you start unlocking scoring, you're going to go ahead over here and start crossing off these little numbers. So for the first two that you get, which are going to be over here, you're going to get these different multipliers. So if you look, for the first two, you're going to get 1. For the second 2, you're going to get times 2. And for the last 2, you're going to get times 3. And you're going to come over here and you're going to start putting these in here. And at the end of the game, you're going to be able to, so these are 6 different ones here. If you get them in here, you'll be able to score these extras. And simply what it is the row that it's on. So this one here, for every one of these I have circled, I'll get that many points. For every one of these I have circled, I'll get that many points. And so on and so forth straight down. Now at the end of the game scoring, you're going to take whichever one of these you have multipliers on. You're going to score those up. Then you're going to take this one here. For every 2 of these flags, you're going to get a point. For every 2 coins, you're going to get a point. And for every 2 knowledge, you're going to get a point. You're going to total up all these guys, which are just pure points. And you're going to get your total here. So each one of these is worth a point. And then that's your score. And the person with the highest score wins at the end of the game. Now, one thing I did want to mention real quick is some of these, which if you can see right here, have, if you finish all the way up to this column for all of these, you will get the bonus above. Same over here, here, and then these ones just give you simple bonuses once you reach these. So there's bonuses for getting more people, and basically you have to balance out like what you're going to do on the board versus how you're going to get your points. So you're going to get a lot of people, or you want to get a lot of these, and then get these good multipliers on there for the rows that you got a lot on. Now, one thing I mentioned is destruction, which can happen. So this game's going to go over 8 rounds. And I mentioned you picked 1 die. So after this, after everyone's selected, you're going to roll again. And then these dice are going to go over here. Whoops, 6. And then everyone's going to pick. After everyone's picked on the dark side over here, this dial's going to move. And another round begins. Once you get to the 3rd round, what's going to start happening is when I roll for this and I place these guys out, oops, and I place these guys out, whatever this one ends, not only is it removed here, but it's also destroyed on your board. So you're going to take the color, which is red, and the 1. You're going to look at your board. Does this one have a fortress protecting it? No. So it is gone from the game. And as you can see, that is going to be true for all the rest of the rounds. So at some point, even though these don't give you a ton of points, you're actually going to probably want to get these fortresses to protect yourself. So once you get to the end of the 8th round, the game will end. Everyone will get their 2 dice, and the person with the highest score wins. So let's go ahead back up to the table here, and I'll give you my final thought on Twa dice. So I really like this game. On the surface, when you're reading through the rule book, it feels like it's going to be a very boring solo game. And it is a solo game. The 1 to 10 players, what the heck? Like, there's no limit to players. You could have infinite numbers of players in this game. Like, it doesn't matter. No one affects anyone else. The only thing that would slow it down is we're just waiting on anyone to finish up their turn if someone takes a little extra longer. That's it. There's really no player limit in this game. I do like all the options in the board, that are on the board, and there's enough options on the board that people end up with different scores. So that is really, really good. In addition, this game does come with a mini expansion that I didn't explain. After you play the game a couple times, you're going to probably want to throw that mini expansion in. It adds a little extra layer to the game. The game does also play very quickly, even though it's 8 rounds and you pick twice. You're going to have 16 picks on the board. And there's a lot of things to think about in the game. Do you want to protect some color numbers on there because they might get destroyed throughout the game? You don't necessarily want those to be destroyed. Another thing I did mention that if a column becomes destroyed and you circled like buildings and stuff on those still count for end scoring. So that's something to keep in mind. Really good production quality on this game. The dice are really nice and chunky. The board is nice and thick cardboard, and it's a pad of paper. I do highly recommend that if you like this game, to see about probably laminating a couple sheets. That's what I generally do. I bought a laminator because I play so many roll and rides that I just laminated 10 of these, even though, again, player count doesn't matter. You can play with any number on here, but I'm probably not going to play more than 10 players. And if I did, and I run out of sheets on here, I'll just print some more out. Either way, if you're looking for, I guess it's going to be considered into the roll and write range because it is your rolling and your writing, and you're okay with no player interaction, just using your own strategy and see who thought the best on here. You can literally just play this by yourself. This is a great solo game. You can just try to beat yourself each time. But it's also very nice to play with other players with this game because it gives you like a gauge on how well you're strategizing, picking the different locations or different actions to take on the board and when to take them. So I do like this game. This game's going to remain in my collection, and I do recommend that if you like roll and writes, you may want to check this game out. So that's my thoughts on Trois Dice. Thank you for watching.